Hey everybody, I'm going to read my prepared text here and go from there, and I'll make some explanations along the way. I'm trying to get Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr to open an investigation against AmeriGas Petroleum regarding price gouging, specifically on the dates or around the dates of the state of emergency in January. That's January 9th through the 25th, and then the state of emergency that was on opened on the St. Patrick's Day, March 17th of this year. And as anyone who's down here knows, the winter weather was the worst it's been in a long, long time. It snowed for the first time in quite some time, and then it was biting cold. When if you add that to the winds and in some cases tornadoes that have hit the area, it was a nightmare. But it was a nightmare for us, and this is what I wrote to Chris Carr originally in my complaint to the Attorney General's office. And I wrote, "Hi, I'm Zennie Abraham, and I recently relocated to Georgia from Oakland and to help my mom, Patricia Yerger, who is now 90 years old as of October of last year. We had a bad situation, unfortunately, with AmeriGas Propane, long story short. After increasing my mom's monthly propane from $159 a year ago, January, to as much as $589 this year, January. Again, remember, during the period of the first state of emergency, the weather-related state of emergency that was issued by Governor Kemp, the uh, Georgia law on that action says that it is illegal to do that. When the governor issues a state of emergency, you're not supposed to use that as a utility provider to jack up prices for heat and related energy devices that are providing that, or energy systems like propane that are providing that. It's against the law. It is stated, and it even has fines attached to it, which I won't read for this broadcast, but they are considerable on a per case basis. So now, AmeriGas, who's rep by its new CEO, Michael Sharp, and a woman by the name of Jennifer S., who was the representative, who claimed that she represented Mr. Sharp, and I only talked to once before. She was brand new to the to this year. Want to disconnect our service as of June 2nd, and but they're not clear as to what that even means for us. Now, you would think it means for non-payment, right? No. In a letter to my mother, Jennifer stated that it was because we were not satisfied with AmeriGas service. In other words, how dare you complain about our prices? You will pay what we assign you, regardless of if the price is too high and based on numbers that we can't justify. For example, charging us $326 for a date of 2/28 twice. In other words, it says it right there clearly on the invoice too. It said 326 twice. All right, that's what it read, and then what? We don't even know what that means, right? And so because of all that, that's really just stopping us from doing business and with no charge, right? With somebody else. But we just want to do business we really would want to stay with AmeriGas. And I said this here. I said, we want to stay with AmeriGas and never asked for a disconnect. This was Jennifer's idea. This was all her. She was difficult to work with from the start to begin with. And her behavior is not within the bounds of decency or Georgia state law. And I'm asking for help. Basically, AmeriGas has increased my mom's propane cost again from a $159 last January to as much as $589 January of this year. And before a down adjustment to get this $405, ooh, that was still way too high to pay. And my mom's on a fixed income because I'm the only child. I have to be here for her and to do remote work. And I have had great clients, but I'm in the middle of a dry spell. Even with the dry spell, I was able to pay the first 326 that they imposed after getting the 589 off, and then turned around and said, okay, well, you've got paid that. Here, we're going to increase it to 405. What? And this is while actually demand for propane was actually gone down because the winter was subsiding. And the prices were too. All right? So anyway, I've been able to pay some of that, but now they're asking, saying, okay, we're going to cut you off and you pay us $3,900. What? Okay? I mean, it's just like they come up with these prices like, here's my giant payment, you pay it, and that's it. All right? And we're not the only ones they do this to, but they're really sticking it to us in a way I've never seen with anyone else. Other people are trying to get away from them. We just want our service to remain. So we're vastly different. And so, all right? So, but this is how different this situation has been for us with respect to Mr. Sharp. All right? I sent an email to AmeriGas CEO. I found his personal email address. And he, by the grace of God, responded. At that time, AmeriGas was trying to charge my mother $3,100. After $300, she'd paid all that. She actually overpaid. This is going back to last November. And then I said to Tracy, who was one of the customer advocates who specialty is social media, right? Which is how she was able to keep in touch with me because she knows that I'm Twitter. And I said, why are you all pricing my mom in this way? And she sent me a spreadsheet and said, your mother missed a payment in September. Well, she sent a spreadsheet. I actually went back to her account, which is online at AmeriGas, right? And I discovered that the system, AmeriGas system, wrote paid. In other words, my mother had paid for September. And I brought it to Jennifer's attention. And I brought it to Michael's attention. And Michael had not yet taken office. But he was hired. The news was out there. That's how I found out. And he said, well, just let's see what Tracy does. But then I know he stepped in because the next thing I know, Tracy says, well, we're talking with the cash adjustment team. And they made an adjustment and you don't owe anything. And it was interesting because Tracy didn't say her usual, well, thank you or hope you're doing well or anything. It was just very cold. Very cold. But the bottom line is they're treating my mom like she should be treated because she had overpaid. They were trying to get her to pay off the whole balance all of a sudden. And I note something else too. All of this started after the November election. Once November 5th hit, AmeriGas started acting up. It's like, hey, Trump's going to take care of us, so guess what? We can be buttholes to people. That's how they're acting. All right? And I personally do not believe President Trump would support AmeriGas behavior if he were made aware of it. I don't believe it. I do not believe it. Donald Trump might be a number of things, but he's not into fleecing elderly black women. So, all right. So, this is what I sent to Mr. Sharp, and he went like this. Greetings. Say, we're confused here. Jennifer S. writes a hastily prepared letter stating that our services will be terminated in 30 days. Then we call. No callback. We get an updated invoice stating that the new minimum payment is $330. Does that mean mom's not terminated? Also, I produced an analysis of the monthly AmeriGas payment invoices, which showed they went from $159 last January to $589 proposed for January 2025, an increase of over 200%. And that's during a period of the two states of emergencies, weather-related declarations by the governor of Georgia. The latest one was actually March, St. Patrick's Day of this year. And the invoice data came directly from AmeriGas's website. And at the time I wrote this originally, I mentioned the latest being January 2025. There were other instances last fall too, but I digress. Also, AmeriGas invoice was not based on any electronically produced information. It was just a guess that happened to lead to an increase of wild proportions and on the back of my 90-year-old mom. A meter reader was just installed, or a gas reader was just installed 2 weeks ago to the date of when I contacted Mr. Sharp, and outside the coverage period of the data that I was referring to. That means AmeriGas was just flying blind during those periods they were issuing invoices. Oh, we'll just pick a price. Oh, we'll just pick a price. That's what they were doing. I remember asking about this, and I think it was Tracy, it was Jennifer talking about all the algorithms that went and all the data and all this, and I'm thinking, yeah, but the outcome is the same. It leads to a gouged price. And I said, how you're handling your formulas is incorrect with respect to how you're supposed to be treating people by law. Georgia law prohibits a price increase that will be considered gouging during a state of emergency. I've repeated this again and again and again. The average bill for us was $134, and then it increased to $234. The average bill nationwide was $134, increasing to $234 during winter months, according to LG Jordan oil data. All right. And I have provided links to that, and also to the monthly average propane bill information. I'm just asking for you all, I wrote. Heck, I'm begging for you all to treat my mom correctly and within the law. Treat her as one of your own. That's all I ask. God bless Zennie. And that's what I wrote to Mr. Sharp. He has not responded to me directly, unlike responding to me before he hit the office, and I have proof. Since officially taking office as AmeriGas CEO. By contrast, he was responsive again when I reached him before he hit office, just days. And I'm saying to Mr. Carr, please check this out, because someone needs to really investigate what AmeriGas is doing to its customers. It's no wonder they do not have a customer loyalty program. Best regards, Zennie Abraham. I'm just trying to help my mother. That's what I'm trying to do. That's why, as the essence why I'm here. Michael knows it, and now hopefully others know it. And maybe I made another connection. I don't want to jinx things by saying who that is within AmeriGas. Perhaps this gentleman who is high up can help as well. But I'm just trying to help my mom, because this is wrong. This is classically bad. I have reached out to, at least on a social media way, I went to Liza Lucas of 11 Alive, who was going to do a story, but says that, well, it won't be in a timely fashion given when the June 2nd date's supposed to roll around. But my response was, hey, you know what? It's not doing it before the action that's as important as telling the story. Because if you take a look at AmeriGas from a mainstream media perspective, the number of incidents that are reported on social media far outshines mainstream media reporting. Mainstream media, by contrast, virtually ignores AmeriGas. I'm serious. That's why I went about making my articles, which appear in search, and this, which appears in search. I'm going to keep going on filling these search engine optimization voids until I've reached a sufficient alteration of AmeriGas's graph for the purpose of telling my mother's story. My mother is a great person who doesn't deserve to go through this. And I'm really tired of institutions trying to take advantage of the elderly. And that's precisely what's going on here. And Chris Carr, who wants to be governor of Georgia, ought to be right there and saying, hey, you can't do this to her. Stop. Stop. All right. Live long and prosper, everybody, and subscribe to this channel, Zennie62 on YouTube. Bookmark ZennieReport.com. Thanks.